Guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back to watch my videos. I'm really excited today because it's the first time I'm riding my 2019 CB500X in the rain, and I'm pretty excited about it. I want to see how it performs in the rain. So I've had this bike for about 5 months now, and there hasn't been much rain in this period. But another major reason I hadn't ridden in the rain was because the bike is quite new. I know that after a few hundred kilometers, the tires should be worn in and ready for riding in the rain. They won't be too slippery, but I just wanted to be cautious. And today I've decided to take it out for a ride just to see how it performs in the rain, especially the tires. And while doing so, share a few tips on how to ride a motorcycle in the rain. So, as some of you already know, this is not my first bike. I've had like 2 bikes prior to this CB500X, and I've ridden in the rain. And the 2 earlier bikes didn't have ABS. I was still able to manage it in the rain. I commuted to work on them, and I did almost everything. They were kind of like my daily driver sort of vehicle. And I'm happy to say I never fell off any of those bikes in the rain, and never fell off any of them actually at any time. So what I'm feeling now is, both in terms of performance, I don't see any difference. It's just as smooth, and the power is just as enough as when I'm riding on a dry day and on dry pavement. But of course, in the rain you have to be really careful. Rainy days are not days to try silly things on a motorcycle. And some might say some bikes are sophisticated, they have like traction control and all that, but no matter what you have, no matter the electronics you have in your motorcycle, you want to be very careful, because the simple fact is there's water on the road. There is not as much contact of the tires in the road as it is on a dry day, so you want to be really careful. So the tips that I would like to give here about riding motorcycles on a rainy day is, you want to be very soft on the throttle. You don't want to be doing crazy acceleration, sudden instant acceleration, because that's going to make your tires spin. For those who have traction control, yeah, you will be much safer than anyone who has just ABS and no traction control, or none of these electronic assistance features at all. So you want to be very gentle on the throttle, because the road is much more slippery than on a drier day. Yeah, so that's number 1, be gentle and soft on the throttle. Number 2 is with braking. Number 2 is braking. So you want to brake gently, which means that you want to anticipate danger or a need to brake from a far distance behind, way in advance, before you actually get to the point where you have to brake. So start soft braking if you can, and then brake hard when you get to where you really need to stop. I mean, it's not the case every time, but yeah, if you have the luxury, it's better to do it that way, so that you don't put yourself in any unnecessary danger, especially if you have no ABS. So yeah, and I'll add one here, that the road markings on the roads, well, different countries have different materials they use on the road markings, but sometimes it seems like it's just white paint on the floor. So if you're driving a car, you have four wheels. It's not likely that all the four wheels are on the markings on the road. So even if one tire slides, the other tires are there to compensate, so you have more stability. And these days, almost all cars, or maybe all cars, come with anti-skid control, ABS, and all those features. So it works really well, especially for cars. But on a motorcycle, you have two wheels in line. So it's very likely that when the front wheel is on a road marking, the rear wheel is as well. Which means that if you're sliding, both wheels are going to be sliding. So you want to be careful. Don't brake on the road markings. They can be very, very slippery. Even in dry weather, it can be slippery. So it's especially more important to consider that on a wet day like this. So caution number 3, do not brake on those road markings. And it's not just about braking. I mean, just try to avoid the wide marking, the road markings altogether, whether you're braking or not, riding fast or slow. Because contact between the tires and the ground is bad on those road markings. So you want to avoid them altogether. And especially don't do any silly things on those road markings. But if there's the need to go over the road markings, you want to be very careful. You want to be gentle. You want to be gentle on the markings. Yeah, what else can I think of on a rainy day? Yeah, another thing you want to consider on a rainy day when you're riding your motorcycle is to be upright as much as possible. Do not bend over too much when you're turning, or when you're overtaking, or when you're maneuvering, because mind you, the middle of the tire is rolling on the ground most of the time, about 90% of the time when you're riding, and the sides only touch the ground when you maneuver or you turn and you bend the bike, which means that there's more grip in the middle of the tire than on the sides, and there are even parts of the sides of the tire that have never touched the ground. So if you bend too much and you hit the parts of the tire, the sides of the tire that are not properly worn in, because of these chemicals that are on the side on the tire from the factory, it's likely to cause a slip. So be mindful of the sides of the tires. No crazy maneuvering, because that's what's going to get you into trouble. And you want to be as safe as possible, because car drivers, they don't care too much, because they've got all the features and they're on 4 wheels, so they are more stable, and the cars are much more heavier, so it's more stable. But with a motorcycle, irrespective of what features you have, you still want to be very, very careful. There's no point. Rainy days are not days to do all those skills on the road. You just want to get safely to where you're going. No need to rush. If you have to be somewhere at a certain time, leave early. Ride at a steady speed. No crazy acceleration. Avoid the white lines or yellow lines or whatever the road markings are. Do not bend too much on your bike. Sit upright as much as possible, and you should be good. And all of these are considering the kind of tires you have and how long you've had them on the bike. So if you have worn tires, you want to be even more careful, because worn tires have less grip than relatively new tires, so you want to be really, really careful. Right now I'm driving between 50 and 60 kilometers per hour, and I think that's enough to get me wherever I'm going. So yeah, these are a few tips that you want to consider. Yeah, something has just come to mind. In cold weather or in winter, The visor of the helmet can be very foggy, especially for those people who wear glasses like me. If you have your glasses in your visor in cold weather, when you're breathing, hot air comes in contact with cold air in the vacuum space between your face and the helmet's visor, where you can't see out of your glasses first of all, and also the visor, and that's very dangerous. What that means is you're gonna take your hand off and open your visor and let in some cool air, and while doing that, if something happens, you have just one hand, you can't control it, and because the roads are wet, every reaction is going to be really fast. So before you know it, you're on the ground. So my advice is to leave your visor half open as long as the rain is not beating too much on your face, or just open it a little bit, let in some fresh air, and that will do the trick. So yeah, like we always say, safety first. You don't want to risk it. You don't want to risk anything on a rainy day. Who says you can't commute on your motorcycle on a rainy day? You can. You just have to be reasonable about it and don't ride too fast, and take some precautions, and you should be good to go. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm trying as much as possible to ride straight without bending too much, even when I'm making a turn or I'm maneuvering. Braking is really gentle. I'm going to make a turn on the right, and so about 50 meters or 100 meters I start my gentle braking. I see there's no obstruction. I turn gently, and then I can accelerate again. And engine braking is also a good trick, especially on the CB500X with the slipper clutch. Engine braking is smoother than on a bike that has no slipper clutch. So when you're engine braking, especially on a bike that has no slipper clutch, you want to shift down slowly. You don't want to shift directly from 6th gear at 80 kilometers per hour to 1st gear in a space of about 3 seconds. That's going to try to stop the rear wheel, and that could be dangerous. So you need to be cautious of that. So yeah guys, that's it for today. I just wanted to ride my bike for the first time in the rain, and also give you some tips on how to ride safely in the rain. So that's it for this video guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click subscribe to this channel so we can go on this motorcycle vlogging journey together, and leave a comment if you have many. Share your thoughts on what you think, what extra things you can do or a rider can do to be safe on the road on a rainy day, and I'll be glad to learn from you all. Once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, hit the bell icon so when I upload a new video you'll be one of the first to see it. Thank you so much for watching. Till I see you in the next video. Ride legal, ride safe. Peace.